Good morning, Rabbi Sai. Lili Nishmas Imi Mirasi Ruspas Mordechai. The mood in the room is like, there's no it's almost about to rain. Okay. It's good. I like it without the shkoyach, but it just shows that you guys, your level, the energy is down a little bit. I don't blame you. Shkoyach. Rev Eli, I was in Boston for a trade show and went to a restaurant and found this gentleman from Queens who is proud Daf learner. We're all part of Reb Meir Shapiro's Chabura, Kol Tuv Shmuel Eidler. It says, do the Daf on its cap. There should be a government health warning for your Daf Yomi. It's highly addictive and can prevent sleep. I only tried you 4 weeks ago out of curiosity and feel connected to your warning. Hashem Yisborach give you Kodesh. David Krause, London. And regarding your question on Kesubos, Daf Amud Beis, David Krause. Okay. Boys, I just wanted to show you this. This is, I'm not on this chat, but somebody sent me this, a screenshot of the MDY New York City chat. So on top it says, please use the link below to sign up to learn Mishnais L'zeich Nishmas Ezra Tuvi Yaakov and Esanel Yitzchak Palak. So people signed up, Amoki Menachem. Then on the bottom it says, Marcus Shemnazi, looking to send a small box of time-sensitive medication from Muncie to Lakewood. That's at 2:49 p.m. 2:52, 3 minutes later, he writes, covered, thanks all that reached out. So in 3 minutes, a bunch of people reached out to him, he got it going. The chesed. And then I have a text message from Tani Palak, from the father of the child who was nifter. People from Toronto drove in. They drove in to be Menachem Avalim. Complete strangers. Voice notes from South Africa and Manchester and all over. What a mishpacha you started. I have here also, he left me a voice note. So just to explain the voice note, we're talking about in the Shiva house, during Shiva, people are there, and the Rav is giving a shir, like in learning. And with that being said, listen to what he said over here, and this brought him Simcha.
Right after Mincha, my rabbi, Rav Andrew Markowitz, was giving over a hatzlacha from the Mishnah Berurah and the Beis Avel, and silence. He was reading over the Mishnah Berurah, and like 2 seconds of silence. Huge, good morning, Rabbi Sai. Ring someone's ringtone.
Somebody's phone rang out in the middle of the Shiva house. And I'll continue. Hold on, maybe there's more.
My B&H co-worker, Rabbi Yaakov and Rabbi Markowitz, who is a master of yours. Well, I mean, at least he looked at the clip today, and it was all over Fairlawn and everywhere. Thank you. He's like, wow, perfect timing. Everyone's got to watch this clip right now. And it was just amazing how many, again, voice notes I got, calls. So much nechama just from your share. Thank you so much, Rabbi.
So much nechama just from your share. So, Rabbi, I can continue calling him. Don't think that you're the 100th person. It's okay. Another call, another visit. Keeping Menachem, he needs it. Believe me, as happy as he sounds, so to speak, he needs the chama. Simon Stern, Rebelli, since we mentioned today's daf, some Yevamos flashbacks, it reminded me that I haven't sent you the video of our Yevamos Siyum during the 9 days. Rabbi said, this is the 9 days. I don't know where this is, but this is the 9 days. Just pay attention. I don't even know if I should show this. This is like Osir for many different reasons, but whatever. I'm a shtickle hungry. It's in the morning. KR Simon. The 9 days. Rabbi said the 9 days.
Where is this?
I don't know. This is a Siyum on Yevamos. It's a Simcha. Siyum on Yevamos. I don't know what that is. We're not talking about it. I don't know what the meat is. There's a guy's backyard. Look at this. In the 9 days. Can a almana wear her hair uncovered? So this person brings a machlekes between the Ramah and the Magen Avraham. I wish he showed me where it is. The Ramah brings a raya from this Gemara. So it's Chaim to the Ramah. He brings a raya from this Gemara. But the Magen Avraham says that the Gemara means to say that between women, that she's between women. You might have said that. The Rosh might have came over to me. Somebody said maybe she's between women, and is for a man to be able to look at her. She's allowed to go with her hair uncovered. Okay, I have to see this inside to believe it. Thank you so much for your daily Daf Yomi. We have to go. So this is, I guess, a guy in a skirt. This is in Scotland. Yoni Benny and Ariel Mason from Manchester at a wedding in Scotland with a Scottish man in the hotel in a kilt. I'm trying to find the truth from Moshe Feinstein and other places on the subject because in the national dress of Scotland, worn by men, would it technically be permissible for you to wear? When you come to live at this year, when are your next vacation in Scotland? We need some volume here. The guy with this kilt goes, not to be here today. Okay. This is a store. It's a restaurant in upstate New York, in Monticello, and it's called The Flame, and they have no problem promoting Torah in the middle of the restaurant, so you shkoyach to The Flame. If you need some good food, go to The Flame. They didn't ask me to say that, just Solkowitz sent that in, so we gotta, if they're gonna pump us, we gotta pump them. The Parnas HaChodesh for the Koilel, sponsored the zchus, all the new people that joined. Parnas HaChodesh for the Koilel, Avi Rachel Kamiatsky, Mary Rachel's mother raised Gittel Bas Esther, Rita Shabim Litzi Yoisher, and Bafel was in our children. The Koilel for the week, the Refuah Esther Bas Bertona Biton. The Masechta is sponsored Eli Nishmas is Baruch ben Moshe Aaron, Eli Nishmas Moshe Elazar Shalom. That's hatzlacha for my children. The second sponsor for the Masechta, Jeff Rosner, zchus my son, Yosef Simcha Chaim ben Chana, Refuah Shlema. The Parnas HaChodesh, Dr. Avrum Epstein, in memory of my precious Southern Belle, wife, mother, and grandmother, Rita Gay Epstein. Parnas HaChodesh number 2, Michael Benmeleh, Motty Perl Aaron Hirsch, to be zoche to make it to Uman Rosh this year. Parnas HaChodesh number 3, Eli Nishmas Zechrya ben Moshe. The Parnas HaYoy, Refuah Shlema, for those that need it, and my wife, who's having 4 upcoming surgeries. Wow. Refuah Shlema. And happy birthday, Yankel Cohen, the official MDY MSP. Many happy returns. Can you find me? Refuah Shlema of a relative is the final Parnas HaYoy. Rabbi Sai, today is Daf Nun Vav. And we are holding on top of Nun Vav Amud Aleph. Yosef Chanina Kamei de Rabbi Yanai. 4 lines down. Oh, we have a guest here. What's your name? Dait, you said? Dov Teichen, sorry. Dov Teichen Shalom Aleichem from Cedarhurst. Oh, so I remember that part. Givaldik. Tzadik, do you want to say your name or you rather... Shalom Aleichem, what's your name? I'm semi-regular. Semi-regular. Just the shirt is different, maybe. Avi said you're a guest. You're not good. You're not in charge of guests anymore. We need a new guy. And Jonathan Austin is not a guest. He's for sure not a guest. Okay. What do I want? I wanted to call you yesterday, Jonathan. Let me think. In front of everybody. Oh, yeah. Okay. Zog the Gemara. Yosef Chanina Kamei Reb Yanai v'Ko Amar Halacha Ki Reb Elazar ben Azariah. So yesterday we had a very interesting shittas Reb Elazar ben Azariah, and that is that if a person writes in the Kesuba extra stuff for his kala, and then it doesn't pan out the way he wanted it to be, so he says we have a umdana. We have to assume that he never intended to give her all the stuff that he wrote, unless he got married. Why? Because of this chibas bia. So now we're going to see, is it chibas bia, is it chibas chuppah, what is it exactly? Akaponim, who's the halacha like? I love when the Gemara does this. Omar lei, so Rav Chanina said it in front of Rav Yanai. Omar lei, puk kari karach lebara. He was a famous Bal Kaira. Usually the Gemara says puk tani karach lebara, puk, a different lashon. Over here it's a lashon of kriya because that's what he was. He was a Bal Kaira, famous Bal Kaira. So he tells him, like we say over here, get out of here. Leave. Go. You say your halacha somewhere else. There's a maisa with Rabbi Kotler. He was fighting and learning with a bacher, and he didn't...
His son-in-law.
How do you know the story? I'm saying the other story. Okay. Tell me if this was his son-in-law. Okay. Get out of here. Exactly. So, okay, let's say it was his son-in-law. Who's his son-in-law? Rabbi Newman? Okay, I don't know. Yeah, sure. One of those. So he's fighting with somebody in learning. Tell me if this is the story you meant. He's fighting with him in learning, and he got really agitated. And he says, where is he? Throw him out of here. So they said, he already left the Beis Medrash. He says, good. Bring him in, and now I'm going to throw him out. Is that the story you wanted to say? That's the story I wanted to say. And it's his son-in-law. Before they got married or after? After, because if it was before, he would never do the shidduch. Yeah, okay. Such a okay. Fine. Chas v'shalom, he's the Rashiva now in Lakewood. One of them. Who knows? Anyways, take your stuff out of here. Ein halacha ki Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah. So now we're starting with this. He says the halacha is not like Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah. We don't go by any assumptions, no umdinas. Omer Rabbi Yisrael bar Avdimi mishum Rabbeinu. Machlokes here, who Rabbeinu is? Rashi says it means Rav. He says Rebbe. Okay, Rabbeinu. He says in the name of Rav, halacha ki Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah. The halacha is like Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah. We go by the umdina. Omer Rav Nachman mishum halacha ki Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah. Here's Rav Nachman in the name of Shmuel. The halacha is like Rabbi Elazar. Rav Nachman didei Omar ein halacha ki Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah. He says in the name of Shmuel that the halacha is like Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah. He himself says the halacha is not like Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah. What is going on here? V'nar dar mishmei the Rav Nachman Amri halacha ki Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah. So now Nardai say in the name of Rav Nachman, even though Rav Nachman himself, we just said a second ago, says the halacha is not like, just to confuse things. Nardai say in his name that he did say that the halacha is like Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah. Now to make it even more confusing, v'avagav the lot Rav Nachman, even though Rav Nachman used to curse, the Rashash says it's a different Rav Nachman. This is Rav Nachman bar Abba. Okay, you have to hold cup here. The bottom line, some say the halacha is like Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah, some say it's not halacha like Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah. Some say the same person that said that halacha is like Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah, he himself didn't say it. Then they use his name, but it's not him. It's a different person. It's Rav Nachman bar Abba. And what was his curse? Call Dayana the Dayan Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah. If you're a Dayan and you pass an halacha and you take away the nursing homes and all the extras that the Kesuba has because there's no wedding at the end, there's no beer. This and this is going to happen to you. Terrible things. Even though he used to curse, no, we do a umdana. You don't give her the nursing home. Says the Gemara, bottom line, v'halacha lemaisa. You want to know how we paskin and we take away nursing homes? Not like sometimes it's halacha and we don't really pass. This is a pure halacha and we actually go with it. Nimnu v'gamru. They came together and they decided this is the halacha. The halacha is like Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah. Okay. New sugya. But it's based on the other one. Just to fool you guys to think that we're starting new sugya. By Ravin. So that looks like Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah that she doesn't get all the Tosefes Ksuba because there's never a bia. Now the question is, why did he give it to her? Why does a chassan give his kala so much? So what if there was one without the other? There was a chuppah v'loy nivela. Chibas chuppah kaina or chibas bia kaina? Which one is it? Why is he donating so much to his kala? Is it because he's anticipating the marriage or he's anticipating the bia? Tashma. So over here we have additional insight into what's going on here from these extra words. The Tani Rav Yosef, Shaloi Kasavla, he explains, Rav Yosef explains, he didn't write all that extra stuff, the nursing homes in the Ksuba, Ella al Chibas Laila Harishon. So it's a little bit of an insight, but it's more of a riddle. Laila Rishon, there's two words here. So how would you decipher those two words? Does Laila Rishon mean the first bia or the first chuppah? What does Laila Rishon mean? It can go both ways. So let's analyze it. And by the way, just to ruin it for everybody, we're going to go, not like you think, we're going to go with the chuppah. Laila Rishon means chuppah, because it fits better into the words of Laila Rishon. Why? If you're talking about that he's anticipating a chuppah, a marriage, because it's the first night of his marriage. It is the chuppah. Whenever the chuppah is, it's the first night of marriage. The word Laila Rishon doesn't fit into bia. Either the simple pshat would be because there's many bias, it could be 20 down the line, whatever, or it means the Laila Rishon is not exclusive to bia. If a person can push it off by a week, push it off by a day. Just because he just got married doesn't mean there's bia Rishona on Laila Rishon. Correct, as we're going to have soon. And that makes a little bit more sense, that pshat, because it's the bia Rishona. He's giving her extra for that bia, not for bia in general, for the bia Rishona. Velomai chuppah. Okay, so you're telling me that Laila Rishon, when Rav Yosef says these two words, Laila Rishon, he's talking about chuppah. Ask the Gemara. So you want to be so medayik in his words, so let's continue being medayik. Chuppah b'Laila Issa b'Yamam Alessa. There's many people, Adei Mazeh, but dafka they do a chuppah during the day, briskers in the afternoon, whatever. There's many chuppahs. Friday afternoon. It's not at night. It's in the afternoon. So why does he say Laila Rishon? As if it has to be at night. A chuppah, if you're talking about chuppah, must it be at night? So the bottom line is we have a problem like this. On the one hand, Rishon means chuppah because it doesn't have to mean bia, but it does mean it means chuppah because the first day of your marriage. So that's Rishon. Mitzat Sheni, Laila seems to mean bia, not chuppah, because chuppah could be during the day. So what do? So we have no conclusive evidence yet. Bia b'Laila isa b'Yamam Alessa. Wait a minute. What, bia is only exclusively at night, not during the day? Homarava im haya b'Yisafa mutar. So we have halacha that bia should be at night, and there's different reasons. One of the famous reasons is because v'ahavta l'reacha kamoicha. Shelo yimsa b'davar meguna, shouldn't see something that he dislikes and he'll hate this forever. So at night. However, if you could mimic the night, in other words, make it dark, and there's no problem with there's no problem of the different things, the three different reasons. So it could be during the day too. So then why do you say Laila? Don't tell me Laila means dafka bia. It could be by the day also. Says Gemara, typically it's at night, but if you really think that what we're talking about, Laila Rishon, is referring to chuppah, then why in the world does it say Laila? Chuppah could be during the day. You can't say typically it's at night. Says Gemara, chuppah nami loikash, you stam chuppah lebia kaima, because one is connected to the other. Chuppah is for bia, or achara kamashmal, and bia is at night. So that's the Belaila. Okay. So the bottom line is, Laila can mean chuppah and bia. But then we're stuck with the word Rishon. Laila, we have no evidence. Laila can mean chuppah, Laila can mean bia. But what does the word Rishon mean? Rishon is only chuppah. So now we're back to chuppah. So at the end of the day, that's the raya of the Gemara, that's chuppah. So again, we're asking, if a guy made it to the chuppah, but didn't make it to bia, does the wife get all the nursing homes? The answer is yes, because chuppah is what's kiveh. We see from Rav Yosef, Laila Rishon. I'm writing it for the Laila Rishon. I'm writing for chuppah. I'm thinking about chibas chuppah. That's what I'm thinking about, not chibas bia. Boy Rav Ashi. Nichnas al chuppah upirson nida mau. Person had a chuppah and then he died. His wife was a nida, and before they had relations, he dies. So, as the Gemara is going to say, the question is there has to be a chuppah that could lead to consummating the marriage, bia, or not? So, did he give her over the nechasim? There's a famous Maisa. Let's see. We'll see inside the Shaila. No, chibas chuppah that is available for bia. No, it's a marriage that could translate. Here, look at this. A Maisa Shahaya. It's a very famous man. I think it's kind of Teller story. I'm not sure. But there was a Russian man who died, a very simple man died. And at the funeral, his wife got up and said, "You think he's a simple man, and the reason why we don't have children is because in Russia we didn't have a mikvah. And then when we came to the United States, we were already too old." So, yeah, just the koyach of these people. But I'll upon him, chuppah's nida, a chuppah that never translated to bia. Well, in that case, yeah. Okay, fine. It has to be at least a marriage, a chuppah, right? No, you're asking to me. If a guy gets married just for the shem marriage and there's never bia, then everybody's going to agree that it's nothing. Like an islandess or whatever. I mean, that's not a good example, but no bia at all. Or maybe no. The point is, no, chuppah and that's it. And chuppah is what's making it teiku. The teiku is a big problem. Because anytime you have a teiku, that means we don't know. And if we don't know, she has to bring a raya. It's not just teiku. We'll wait to Mashiach, but until Mashiach comes, she doesn't get any nursing homes. Rabbi Yehuda says, I have a trick. If a guy doesn't have money, let's say, and he's writing a 200 zuz ksuba, the wife could give him a receipt and say, I received 100, even though she never received 100. She could write such a thing, and that's a mechila. To say about pen, not. And we're going to have a Gemara, why not? Before we get there, can she write a receipt and give it to the husband? He doesn't hold the receipts. A typical chayv. Guy owes money, there's a malva and a loiva. Malva lends somebody $100. The loiva pays back 50. What do you do now? The malva is holding on to a star that says 100. The loiva only owes 50. Now if we trust the malva, he might produce a star that says 100 and the loiva is going to lose 50. So what do you do exactly? Well, one way is to write a receipt. You see over here, Rabbi Yehuda holds, you don't write receipts. Rabbi Yehuda oimer yachlef. So here is a little bit of a chart. This is not the lashon. Don't hold me to this lashon, but I'm just pointing out as follows. They started off with the blue star. It says, I, Ruvain, borrowed 100 from Shimon. When? The first day of Adar. Now, a month later, in Nisan, Rosh Chodesh Nisan, he pays him back 50. So, Yachlef, Rabbi Yehuda says you have to rewrite the whole star. But it's not enough to write, I, Reuven, borrowed 50 from Shimon. He has to write, I borrowed 50 from Shimon on Aleph Nisan, the day that I'm writing the star. It's also to write a star, to rewrite a star that you wrote a month ago, right? That's also. What's the difference? Because what happens if Shimon sold his real estate between Adar and Nisan? Now everybody that, in other words, there's no more mishubadim. He has no more guarantee. So there's a problem here. The malva is going to lose out. The malva, he starts all over from Nisan. He knows the guy owns buildings and stuff from Adar. What happened from Adar to Nisan, he doesn't know. So if you rewrite the star, the malva might lose his 50.
Can you just start the date?
No, you can't. So what do you mean switch the date? Go write a wrong date. Write the original date. That's also. That's what I said. It's also. It's also to rewrite the first star. You have to start from today on. Because then you could always do tricks. Then you could write, anytime I borrow money from you, I'm just going to write in the star that I borrowed 3 years ago when I already had real estate and the malva is going to go after these buildings in Manhattan, and that's not fair. So you can never change the date. So you're starting over a date. So you got a problem here. What do you do? It's not a problem. I don't care about the malva. I care about the loiva. I care that if he paid 50, he should have some security that the malva is not going to go after him for 100. He's not going to use the blue star. Let him just use the red star. We're going to rip up the blue, start over. The malva doesn't have a security. Too bad on the malva. I care about the loiva. I have a better idea. Write a receipt. Use the blue star only with the receipt. Now, what's the problem with the receipt? Review the holds. Now you're putting the onus on the loiva. The loiva is going to have to watch this receipt. What if it gets lost? Now he's messed up again. He's going to have to pay 100. I don't want him to. Fine. But I'll go part of me, see. In our case, you should have to rewrite the ksuba all over again. Write in the ksuba, I got married and I'm giving you 100 mana instead of 200. She was moichel. How does the receipt help? In this case, according to Rabbi Yehuda, Rabbi Yehuda is the one that says, write a receipt. There are no receipts. L'chayra, chayv, and a ksuba are the same thing. So I have a great idea, says Rabbi Yirmiyah. In the ksuba itself, you write, and I received 100. So now she cannot produce this ksuba where it says that he owes her 200 because in fact it says 100. No, it doesn't say anything inside the ksuba. When it comes to a loan, vade pare. What happened there? Think about it. In the ksuba, did she get the 100? No. It's a made-up story. So I don't care about her so much. I care about a real loiva who took it out of his pocket, 50, and paid up half the chayiv. So for him, I'm going to start thinking how to protect him. But why should I protect her? Or in a situation where she was moicha, why should I protect the husband? The husband never received anything that he deserves this protection. There was definitely a loiva who paid back the malva half, 50. Dilma, Mirkas, Tavarta, maybe he'll lose the shoivar, this receipt, Umapikli Lishtara, and then the malva is going to use the original star. What? Over here, did she get Milsa? She didn't really receive 100 mana out of the Kesubos, she got 0. She's just saying it, she's lying to help the husband. Inatre. If he is careful with what he has, great. Why should we protect him? He caused his own loss. We're not protecting people that didn't actually receive things physically. Says the Gemara, Rabbi Yirmiyah says that they wrote inside the Kesuba, they did a shoiver inside the Kesuba. I understand why, because like Tani Shavarta Metaycha, it doesn't mention anything about something like that. It should have said it, that they write inside the Kesuba. How come Rabbi Yirmiyah doesn't answer like Abaye? Says the Gemara, you can't just make exceptions. We don't make exceptions like that, because if you make exceptions, people are going to get confused. And they're going to say, you could always write a shoiver. You can say, in this case where she physically took money out of her pocket, we write a shoiver. In this case, we don't write a shoiver. No. All cases have to be equal. Because if sometimes you don't write a shoiver, then in the case where you need to write a shoiver, they're not going to write a shoiver. So we just make one uniform rule for everybody. Brand new sugya. This is really a brand new sugya. Time of the kasvalei. What's review this trick? Review this trick is if the husband, right, there's a ksuba that says he owes the woman 200 and she feels bad for him, so she writes him a receipt that she received 100. She never got the 100, but she writes him a receipt 100, and therefore he only owes her 100 out of the 200. That's the Gemara. Time of the kasvalei. She has to write a receipt. Aval al peh loy. If she just was moichalim and there's eidim heard a mechila, not enough. Amai, as the Gemara, isn't words enough? It's a monetary obligation, and the Shamina le Rabbi Yehuda, the Omar Davar Shebemamin Tnoi Kaim. Who says in the Mishnah you have to write a receipt? Rabbi Yehuda. Rabbi Yehuda himself says that you could just say words, and that's enough when it comes to money. The Sanya, what's the case? The 3 things that say in the Torah that I owe you: clothing, oina, and food. Amoichel. Harezim kudeshes utnoi batal devir Meir. Meir says, "Masna mashakos Torah. You can't make a tnai against what it says in the Torah. So your words are nothing, and the actual kedushin takes place." 2 out of the 3 that are monetary obligations, food and clothing, that she could be Michael with words. Because of Rabbi Yehuda, so you see that Rabbi Yehuda holds that you could be mevater. Says the Gemara, because of Rabbi Yehuda ksuva d'Rabbanan. But when it comes to the Rabbanan, it has to be in writing. Why is the Rabbanan different than the Iraisa? The Chachamim asu chizuk l'devreim yoiser mishal Torah. Unbelievable. I was mechavan to this Gemara yesterday somewhat, a little bit. The Chachamim had to strengthen their words. They had to make it more than Divrei Torah. The Rebbeinu Yoina says in Shar Gimel, like you go down like 1-2 paragraphs, he says over there that when it comes to the Rabbanan, sometimes you see the zchus of misa and the Rabbanan. This is why. He says, similar to what we said yesterday, that when it comes to the Rabbanan, people are mizalzel. They look down at the Rabbanan. So they're not over the Aveira because they had a Yetzirah, he says. It's not because of the Yetzirah. It's because they belittle the mitzvah of the Rabbanan. And that deserves Misa. That's what he says. So you have to be more careful on belittling, on disconnecting, not the Taiva Aveiras. That's what I'm saying. The difference between a Taiva, I want to do this Aveira because I have a Taiva, versus, it's nothing. It's just the Rabbanan. Those are very, there's a mashal, I forgot what it says in this mashal, that a ruler came to a Rav, maybe it was the actual story, and he says, why are you guys so makbid on the Rabbanans? Chiv Misa and the Sasur, well, what's the thing? So he said He says, you're a ruler. Let's say you tell a guy, go make me a cup of coffee. And the guy says, no. So you take out a gun and you kill him. They're going to put you in jail. You're Meshuggah. You just killed the guy because he did it. He says, yeah, but the guard to your house, if somebody tries to get into the ruler's house and they shoot the guy, that's fine. I was going to say anything. So Chachamim are the guardians of the Torah. And that's why they're very machmir. You want to come in, you want to do something and mess with the Torah, we're going to take care of you. HaKadosh Baruch Hu himself and you one-on-one with him, that's fine. But we have to guard the Torah. Says the Gemara, okay. So when it comes to the Rabbanan, we're super machmir. You have to put it in writing. She wants to be mevater and moichel part of the Rabbanan ksuba. I need it in writing. A daraisa I don't. Huh? No, she wrote, I received 100. She didn't get 100. Yeah, but how come she can't just say it? Let her just say it. I received 100. Why does it have to be in writing? Because it's the Rabbanan. You see the same thing by daraisas. You could just say it. I'm moichel you on all the clothing for the rest of my life. I'm moichel and that's it. You don't have to put it in writing. Because the Rabbanan, they had to make a chizuk. People are mezazah. So let's see. Let's take a look at other Rabbanans. Says Gemara, Hare Peiros, yeah, nursing homes. A woman comes in with a nursing home into the marriage. The husband reaps all the benefits, all the profits he takes into his pocket. Yet there's no chizuk. In other words, this not Rabbi Yehuda Rashi says very interesting. Pere Peiros means if the husband takes all the fruit, the profits of the nursing home, and he buys another nursing home. So the new nursing home is going to be owned by the wife. The principal is owned by the wife, and he continues eating peiros from the second nursing home. And peiros. Okay. But what if he says, he has to put in writing. It's not enough just to say it. So, but it's the Rabbanan, right? Says the Gemara, my koisev oimer. Now we know that over there, it's just an amira. Now why is an amira enough? You have to write it. The Rabbanan has to be written. Over there, it's not the pshat, he literally wrote it. He said it. Why over there is saying enough and over here not? Says the Gemara, if you remember in the sugi over there, we just had it. What's the difference between, we said, if you have two things, you have peiros, produce. How many people, raise your hand, how many people in this room got married with a trust fund? Don't raise your hand, I'm just kidding. I don't know anybody, really, that a woman comes into the marriage with a trust fund and she's, maybe one or two of my friends. It's 1% of people, right? So how shchiach is it that she's going to come in and start, and there's peiros and there's that? Nah, halavai, yeah? So, and we said, for that, why does he deserve that? For something that's very not shchiach, and that's ransom. He has to pay a ransom, and therefore he gets something that's not shchiach. But he gets her salary because he's giving her something that's very shchiach, which is the mezainis. Great. So since it's not shchiach, says the Gemara, there's no need to make a chizuk for something that really doesn't happen. Says the Gemara, sponsored Yankee Baum and Moshe Horn. Brach hatzlacha b'chol anyanim. And zchus being able to support them in Torah and to finish learning shots with the rebellion. Amen. I guess it's a bracha for me. If he's going to finish shots, I finish shots. Harecha morim, the shchichi. You'll remember this just from seeing the picture. We just had in Daf Yud in the beginning of the Masechta. A guy that his business is, he's a delivery guy. So he takes from here, he buys from here, he buys wheat from here, and he sells it. What is a chamer? Okay, in those days, truck drivers, we mentioned then, these chamer ameoretz. Today we have truck drivers, a couple people already. At least 2 people, truck drivers sent in that they learn as they're driving. Guy said he's going by South Bend now. Real truckers that are learning the daf. Great. But tell me the chamer trucker. Seriously. Nechemia. Okay, he knows how to say good morning, Rabbi Yosef. I'm talking about real time with the Chachamim. Okay, so this guy over here, Mr. Amoretz, we know that his wheat that he sells it's Demai. If you're going to buy from him, you have to take Trumas HaMaisros. So what's going on here? One chamor says about the other chamor, and that's called goimlin, collusion. Now what? We have chamorim, the zchus, there's many, every city has these truckers, and there's no chizuk. Rabbanon didn't make chizuk, even though zchus, it's not. HaChamorim hu am haaretz. They come into this new city. They're playing this game. Big tzaddik. Yeah? His wheat is much better than my wheat. Why would somebody say that? It sounds fishy already. His wheat is the old stuff. In other words, it's ready to use, it's already dried out, you can start making flour and everything from it. And his wheat, they're ready to Trumas HaMaisros. Like the famous story, I wanted to say it then, I'll say it now, and I say it every month we have to chaz over the famous story. The two schnars in front of the Vatican. One was wearing a Magen David. Everybody knows the story, but we have to say it anyway. And a guy, you don't know it. And the guy with the Magen David is not making a cent. Every Christian goes by, looks at the guy with the Magen David and dumps €5, €10 into the other guy's pocket and keeps on, until one Catholic Christian guy comes over to the guy with the Magen David and says, listen, I feel bad for you, but if you take off that Star of David, you're going to start making money. So he leans over to the other guy and says, he's going to tell the Cohen brothers how to do business. Bekitzer, that's mamish the story over here. It's mamish the story. They're in collusion. His stuff is really good, mine is bad. So everybody's going to buy from him, but they're partners. Shkoyach. Why is he saying it? Goimlin. And then tomorrow he's going to say it about me. It's collusion. Says the Gemara. Oh. Ne'emanim. Rabbi Yehuda Omer, ne'emanim. Wait a minute. This Rabbi Yehuda who was saying the entire time that when it comes to something that's the Rabbanon, we have to do chizuk, it has to be in writing. Over here you see that we don't do chizuk for the Rabbanon. Omer Abaya, vaday the divrayim of the Rabbanon chizuk. When it comes to ksuba, and it's 100%, he owes her, so they made a chizuk. Safek the divrayim, but only something that's up. We don't know if that truck driver took Trumas HaMaisros. Okay, so it's a suffix. On that they didn't do a chizuk. Rava Omar b'dmai kilu, and this we have throughout Shas. And here Rashi says a very strong lashon. He says va'afilu suffix lesa. Rashi says a very strong lashon. When it comes to dmai, the chashash that the Amaretz didn't take Trumas HaMaisros is so small, it's not even a suffix. It's a chumrah shebechumrah. Most Amaratzim take Trumas HaMaisros. You look at today. Most Amaratzim are taking Trumas HaMaisros. Okay, so once in a while the guy forgets, whatever, but that's a suffix of a suffix of a... It's not that they're doing that they don't believe in this mitzvah. The Amaratzim, okay. But it's a very strong Rashi. Roiv Amaretz, Maser Meim. I feel suffix lesson. I said it out of line, but yeah, you get the point. Remeir Oimer Nusugya. Remeir Oimer Kol HaPoiches. Remeir says that if somebody gives less than the 200 of the ksuba, if you make a deal with your wife, you're living in sin. It's znus. Says the Gemara, an incredible thing. What happened? He made a condition with his wife. He says, when we get divorced, I don't have the money. Please do me a favor. Don't take 200. Don't rip me off. Take 100. She says, fine. What happens when they go to Bezdin? The Bezdin says, no, it's 200. Says Remeir, but all these years that you lived with her, znus. Yichab, what's going on here? In actuality, b'mitzias, she got the full ksuba. It was written the full ksuba. Everything was great. Just she thought in her mind that she might not get it. She didn't know. She thought she was mevater, and for that it's znus. B'mitzias, they were married and they had a chuppah and a kiddushin and everything. It's all in the head. And that's what counts. Hold on. I'm going to get to you in a second. There's no t'nai, and she gets the full ksuva. We keep in the Omar law. But because he said it, she's insecure about this whole marriage. She's not goymer das. Yesterday you asked, Mr. Halpern, just on a regular person, he said, oh, she's not she's not znus. Over here, you see a pelvic thing. And maybe, I don't know if I say beremes maybe. When it comes to marriage, there's three things that go on. You have to make a kinyan, But you have to be emotionally involved and spiritually involved. Everything goes in a marriage. But if up here, you're not emotionally and spiritually involved, for instance, I'll give you a mashal. The halacha is that if somebody's with his wife when she's drunk, he's over Isser. But it's my wife. Who cares? No. You have to be emotionally connected. So over here also, she wasn't emotionally connected. She, in her mind, thought that he's going to divorce her any moment because he has nothing tying him down to the marriage because there's no money involved. That was her fault. It's a problem. You see, Mr. Elba? It's a problem. It creates zchus. It's not the way you thought marriage is until now. Just because you gave a woman a ring doesn't mean she's your wife forever. It has to be. You can't think about another woman. You can't. What? She's getting to 200. She's still getting to 200. But in her mind. And a woman that's drunk, she's still getting 200. And he still married her yesterday, but she's drunk. She has to be there. She has to be present emotionally and physically and spiritually. It's a pella. It's a yisoid in marriage. Exactly. It doesn't matter. Same thing. If a man is thinking about another woman, also he checked out of the marriage. That's the whole thing. It has to, in here, you have to, okay. V'day l'chakim v'remiza, says the Gemara. I don't even know if it was a remez. Maybe it's more than a remez. Says the Gemara, wait a minute. This Reb Meir that says that if you make a condition against what it says in the Torah, everything's batal, but in the Rabbanon, it works. So this we also have a chlokes. Is it Kesubos deraisa the Rabbanon? Reb Meir holds it's a deraisa. And since it's a deraisa, you cannot make conditions in a deraisa. If you give your wife less than she deserves in the ksuba, even if they say it balpeh, I'm moichel you 100 without writing it, it's okay. Rabbi Yehuda argues just on how it's done. He agrees to Rabbi Yossi, he argues on Reb Meir that it's not bilas nus, but he says, like we had in the Mishnah, you have to put it in writing. You let it be Michael, but it has to be in writing. And Rabbi Yossi says it doesn't have to be in writing. As the Gemara of Rabbi Yossi Rishai Bermini, Ein Oising Kesubos Isha, Mitaltalin Mithnei Tikkun Olam. We had yesterday, by the way, just so there's no questions because I had this question as I was learning it, and this is the pshat. Yesterday we said that a person is matfis nechasim. He takes metalton, he says, take the piano. Remember, I said a mashal piano. The piano is for Yiksuba. Yeah, because she could take from anything. She says, specifically over here, if I run out of anything else, you'll take from here. That's okay. But to say you don't get anything but the metalton, that's not okay. And that's what's going on over here. Metalton, they take an oilam. So, thinking about Mendy, if the guy gives his wife a ring, a diamond, he says, this is diamond, is it worth your ksuba? Yeah, okay. No good. Why? Because the value of diamonds could go down. Because now they're making them in labs, and now everything's going down. So now she started out with 200, now it's worth 100. Can't do that. What if it gets lost? What if it gets stolen? Murdik and Meiser, boy, it's a beautiful story. It can make you cry, the story. A couple gets married, and immediately after the chasana, the wife realizes she lost her diamond. Lost her diamond. What she went through, the tzar she went through. Every time she's sitting by the Shabbos table, her family, you klutz, you don't know, on the first day of your marriage, you lost a ring. Why don't you hold it a little tighter? Every line, every shtach, pass. Comes Yantif, and is sitting by the Suda, and all of a sudden, the husband starts screaming. He can't believe it. In his chasana jacket that he's wearing, puts his hand in, and there's her diamond. Wow, he takes the diamond. And then, all the fun, they start making fun of him, including the wife. You shaita, you this, you that, I gave you the ring, and this, look at the bushi, he caused me for half a year. Fine. Years go by. You know the story? Just now? Wow, I wasn't zoche. We were supposed to be on it. MDY was supposed to be on Journeys. We had a whole shmooze with them. He made a song about Daf Yomi there, right? I didn't hear it, but okay. I heard the song. Okay, so it's in the song. It's a Mefurish song. Years later, she decides to upgrade her ring. So she goes to the store that they buy the ring, and the guy looks at it, he says, no, you didn't buy it here. She says, what do you mean? My family, my chassan always buys it. No, didn't buy it here. Yeah, I'm happy, fine. Does some research, finds the receipt. So she goes to the store, and when she goes there, she realizes that the husband purchased the ring right before Yom Tov to make her feel good, to take away her tsar. It's not the ring. He made a whole maisa about it. Huh? Not a good maisa. Anyways, so what has it have to do with the Gemara? It doesn't, but I stuck in ring first, and then it goes right there. It's not a journey song. Ha'ara. Okay, it is. Okay. He says it even better. Well, it's A.B. Rottenberg. Shkoyach. Says the Gemara. Okay, we don't listen, in the song you can make up whatever you want. I'm telling you the Ma'aseh Shaya, I heard it from the guy himself. Hey, no, you see it's a different song. I knew it's different. He dies over there, it's a different story. So Rabbi Yossi is repeating the same words. Well, what's the big tikkun oilam over here? How are you gonna say this woman? It goes up and down in value. So Tanakam and Ami Enoisim Kamar. Well, what is he adding? They both said you shouldn't do it. If the husband didn't accept upon himself responsibility and a guarantee, you could give a woman metaltalin if he says, if the price goes down, I'll make the difference. And that Rabbi Yossi comes to argue, you didn't gain anything. It's going to go down, go up. Says Gemara, if the ring might go down in value, he's concerned. She takes from 200 and makes it 100. It happened already. Like Kolchkin. So how could you say that Rabbi Yossi agrees to that? No, what's the connection, says the Gemara? Very simple. When it comes to a ring, a husband gives the wife a ring, he says, take this ring, get the ksuba from it. She's not thinking it's going to go down in price, go up in price. She's happy she's going to be able to collect from this ring. At the end of the day, the price went down. She didn't realize that such a thing could even happen. But over here, she said straight out, I'm giving away 100 out of the 200, so it's very different. Rabbi Sai, have a wonderful day.